Assembly's live, so come subscribe. Your soul's in trial, or simply tied. Your soul medicine, it gets revived. The warrior line, soul tribe. Assembly's live, it's friendly vibes. Your soul medicine will give you life. You're a warrior, let's get this right. Warrior line, soul tribe. Assembly's live, so come subscribe. Your soul's in trial. Warrior line, soul tribe. Assembly's live, so come subscribe. Your soul's in trial, or simply tied. Your soul medicine, it gets revived. The warrior line, soul tribe. Assembly's live, it's friendly vibes. Your soul medicine will give you life. You're a warrior, let's get this right. Warrior line, soul tribe. Assembly's live, so come subscribe. Your soul's in trial, or simply tied.
This is War Line Podcast. I'm Aaron Williams, your host. War Line Soul Assembly Podcast on YouTube. Please like and follow. I'm trying to get up to 50 subscribers. I know that sounds like a little number, but hey, you got to start from somewhere. Thank you for joining the podcast. Please like and subscribe again. I thank you so much. This episode, I'm going to talk about Hot Stove Therapy 101. What's Hot Stove Therapy 101? Well, when I was growing up, my grandmother should always be in the kitchen cooking. And she would say, Aaron, don't touch the hot stove. She never told me the consequences. She just said, hey, trust me, don't touch the hot stove. So what happens when most of the time you tell people to do what they give advice, don't do something that they do it. So I touched the hot stove and I burned my hand. Guess what? My grandmother didn't even almost react. She let me deal with the consequences. And see, that's where we're in society right now. We want to touch the hot stove, but we don't want to deal with the burning. I'm going to say it again. We want to touch the hot stove, but we don't want to deal with the burning. And that's not life. That's not how it works. That's not natural. It doesn't work. If you touch something, hot or cold, whatever it is, there's going to be consequences. And so I'm going to go through some points that I want to make. You know, we touched the hot stove that we knew what was burning hot because we've seen this hot stove before. We've dealt with this hot stove before. It was not something new. It was not a novelty. This is not back in the day. This is what we knew. We knew it was burning hot. And I shouldn't say we because many of us didn't vote for this and touch this hot stove. But because of the burning, we're going to deal with the consequences. Also because, as King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. When people make decisions that affect our lives, whether we voted for it or not, agree with it or not, it's still going to affect your life in some way, some form or fashion. Hot Stove Therapy 101. We touch the hot stove, yet we are horrified by the burning. That is so wrong, but that is so us. You touch the hot stove, but you are horrified by the burning. You deal with an abuser, yet you are horrified by the abuse. You deal with an abuser. America makes a deal again with an abuser, and then you're horrified by the fact that they abuse. You deal with a loser, yet you're horrified while we're losing. You deal with sickness, yet you're horrified by death. You're horrified by all these executive orders. You're horrified by all this and that. Yet, we touch the hot stove and don't want to deal with the burning. We don't want to deal with consequences. It's an invalidation of what we teach our kids. It's an invalidation of what I was taught as a kid. You know, you do certain things, there's going to be consequences for your actions. Yet we do these things and then we don't want consequences for the action. It just makes no sense. You deal with a coward, yet you're horrified by cowardice. You deal with somebody who you know is a coward, and yet you are horrified when they act like a coward, when they do cowardice things, when they have cowardice ways. You deal with darkness, yet you're horrified that there is no light. You deal with darkness, yet you're horrified that the light's out. Well, we got to be the flicker's light because we touched the hot stove and we don't want to deal with the consequences. You deal with hatred, yet you're horrified there is no love. You deal with somebody who you know is hate. You deal with somebody who you know is grievance. You deal with somebody who you know is rage, and you're horrified that there is no love. You're horrified by the hate. You're horrified what you see, but yet you touch the hot stove. You deal with anger, yet you're horrified that there is no joy. We had a joyful candidate. We had a joyful person. We had a joyful situation. And yet we chose, not we, some people chose anger. You chose grievance. And then you're horrified by the results of grievance. Yet you touched the hot stove. And then everybody that touched the hot stove want us to react because you touched the hot stove, which you knew was hot because we had experience that it was hot. See, when I touched the hot stove for the first time, I was real young. I just didn't follow my grandmother's words that it was hot. But believe me, when I got that experience, when I suffered those consequences, do you think that I've ever touched a hot stove again? I have never been this. When I see you fall off the cliff, I turn around. I don't have to fall off the cliff when I see you fall off the cliff. Once I experienced the hot stove for myself, which I should have, I should have listened. You think that I ever touched the hot stove again? In America, we touched the hot stove again. When you knew it was burning hot this time, there is no excuse. There is no way out. There is no hiding place. There is no escape. You deal with cruelty, yet you're horrified there is no mercy. You deal with somebody, a situation you know is cruel, yet you jump up screaming that you want mercy when you knew that the person was cruel to begin with. This is hot stove therapy we deal with because we decided to touch the hot stove because we just touched it. You deal with a sadist, yet you are horrified that they pleasure and pain. You deal with a sadist, and you're horrified that they find pleasure and pain. So when you talk about hot stove therapy, what do we want? You deal with a con artist, but you don't like the con. You deal with madness and chaos and wonder why there's no peace. When you touch the hot stove, it is hot. The result of that touch is a burning sensation that has different levels of consequences. The issue this time, though, we didn't touch the hot stove. We grabbed on and said, darkness, take my hand. Burn me up. Because I know you're burning because I already touched you before. Now I know you're burning. This is not any advice I need. Or somebody telling me, or elderly person telling me, don't do something. I know that it's on fire. We don't want the consequences. That's a violation of natural law. That's a violation. You can believe what you want. You can not be able to explain gravity. But if you get on top of a building and jump off, you're going to come to the earth. Whether you can explain it, break it down mathematically or what, this is a fact. This is a law of gravity. What goes up must come down. We touch the hot stove, yet we hate the consequences. That's the people whose all this shock and awe, all this, he's doing this and he's doing that, he's doing this. What did you expect when you touched the hot stove? Not to get burned? The hottest so this stove was so hot it's glowing. It's just red, just throbbing red, glowing hot. And then we talking about all this, what he's doing. You touched the hot stove. And so now it's in therapy session. And now we got to deal with it. But I'm so tired of this shock, and he's doing this, and he's doing that. And, whoa, this and that. My grandmother didn't react like that. She didn't jump back in shock and say, "Are you burnt?" She knew I was burnt. Because she knew the stove was hot. She didn't jump up and act all in shock. Oh, what? Oh, run, get some water, put some ice on. No. When I started crying, I said, deal with it. She wasn't cruel, but she said, okay, you gotta deal with it. Go through this. And she made me do this. She didn't jump up and start running around and start doing that stuff. She said, deal with it. Here we are. We touched the hot stove. It's burning. We knew it was burning. So therefore, there's consequences.
Warrior Line, Soul Tribe, Assemblies Live. So come subscribe. Your soul's in trial, or simply tied. Your soul medicine, it gets revived. The Warrior Line, Soul Tribe, Assemblies Live. It's friendly